Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. Today, into the big one, Gary Grigsby's War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. This is our PBEM challenge against the devilish Mr. Lodrick, and this is now our setup phase for January 26th. 1942, and you can see there's 71% moonlight if you were wondering if the werewolves were about. The forecast is overcast over Pearl Harbor, as we always center there. Now, you can remember last turn, there wasn't a ton of action last turn, especially relatively speaking, as there's been an incredible amount of action in this game. Uh, we did have, we're kind of having this discussion about how you handle the eastern coast of Australia when the Japanese carriers just sally, up and down the eastern coast. Do you put up planes? Do you not put up planes? I knew that'd be a little controversial. I'm with you, Stanley. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Why throw away airframes? I get that with inexperienced pilots because you are going to get experienced pilots within about the next 5 days or so. I put in the requests. They're trying to get there. Again, I threw him up there to just try to let him know it's not just completely free open skies over Australia. Was it worth 14 airplanes? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think sometimes it's worth that cost, but I can certainly see the other side. Now, the other big thing that happened last time is I was lamenting our armorer out in Colombo who decided to not order torpedoes. We got a torpedo bomber in on two different battleships. Now, we did hit one of those battleships with a bomb. A torpedo would have been much more effective. Well, now I want to back up for a second. I always make it sound like, oh gosh, well, we would have just sunk that battleship. Who knows? That torpedo may have missed. That torpedo, if it would have hit, maybe wouldn't even have done much damage. So I don't want to overstate the case. I will say this, of course, a game like this is all about probabilities, and the probability is that we should have had, we would have done more damage or had a better chance of doing more damage if we got a torpedo into the side of the battleship as opposed to a bomb on the deck. And we didn't, and that was my fault. I can't blame the armorer out there. He's doing his best. He didn't get the command, and we'll go around and talk about how you get torpedoes into air units. Now, we don't have too many torpedo bombers yet, so it's not like it's that difficult. Honestly, that's why sometimes I'll follow the spreadsheet because you forget things like that. Just given the immensity of this game, sometimes you forget the little small details, and they can make a huge difference. And so I didn't have torpedoes in there. Those torpedo bombers run out with bombs. They did hit a battleship. Who knows what kind of damage it did? I guess we'll find out in the future. Anyway, all right, let's go into the stats and then we'll just kind of go look around big picture on the map. We don't see too many of his forces really. I mean, we know where they are. They're in the Philippines. They're right off of Singapore, etc. But we'll go look around the map in a second. First of all, let's go look at the stats. All right, today we ran, or this last turn, the 24th and 25th, we ran 53.38 on sorties. The Japanese came in with 95.86. And as you can see, he's run about 186,000 sorties. I think Klaus asked the question, what exactly is a sortie? Well, that's every individual plane that goes up and does any kind of mission is considered a sortie. So, every one of those counts. So when you see 9586, now that could have been the same plane. Could run two different missions during the turn. Maybe he runs cap one day and he runs escort the next day. Those would both be considered a sortie, and it's every individual plane. So 9586 for the last 2 days. As you can imagine, I mean, even if he's running 100 bombers on a mission, you would have to do that several times to add all up to 9586. So it's, 100 times on the first bombing mission, that's 100 sorties. He runs them again the next day, that's 100 more sorties. Okay, anyway, air to air loss is 22. And, again, we could have this debate probably forever. I don't think that there's a right answer per se. It probably really comes down to the specifics of your individual game. In this game, Lodric, we have not given him much resistance yet. And I can just tell sometimes when he sends me the files that he's feeling good about himself, and I like that. I want to get him overconfident. Let's go, Lodrick. No, I kid. He's a great guy. But I get the sense that he kind of feels like he can do whatever he wants. Now, that's probably true in many respects. Just that's how it is. December, January, February, probably well into March, April before we can really push back. But he's certainly got the run of the map right now, and so I just wanted to throw something up there, give him a different look, make him think a little bit, so he maybe doesn't come down that eastern coast of Australia again. Did it work? I have no idea. I'm not watching his videos. I don't want to play it. Look, it's more important to me to have a good time than it is to win. I think we'll win anyway. But I say that, things don't look in that direction right now, but we'll make our comeback. We'll be fine. Um, and so I don't know. I don't know if that psychologically did anything. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But we wasted well, I don't say want to say wasted. We lost 14 planes on the attempt. Destroyed on the field, one. I hate those, but you're going to get them every once in a while. 104 for the campaign's not bad. Destroyed by flak, 1 and 1. I mean, I really want this number to go up. It's hard to tell, between this and operational losses, what he's really losing or not losing. But we're only showing one this time. Operational losses 4 and 2. Certainly, we would want him to have a lot more than that, given the amount of bombing he's doing in China and the amount of damage it's showing that we're doing. We're damaging a lot of planes. Those are generally going to show up as operational losses. We're not seeing them. Could be just fog of war. We're up to 427 on the political points. You see the Japanese now up to 10,318 points, and he hasn't taken Singapore yet, which is, as I always point out, 1,800 points negative for us. So we would be down around 7,000 when that happens. We just can't let it get away from us. Can't let it get up to 4-1. All right. Allied bases control 516 to 321 as this continues to tighten, and it will. We'll meet up around somewhere around 400 probably in the future. Allied aircraft points lost. He's still got us here, and I know that I repeat myself sometimes, but really in most games that you're going to play against the AI or against a player that's maybe not this skilled, you really should be in the lead here as the allies because he's just running so many more missions than you. Oh, sorties than you are. Um, and he's bombing offensively, so you get the cracks at him with your flak. You also, get to play defensive cap. Now, the flip side of that coin is the Dutch don't have really very good pilots and they don't have very good planes, and there are a lot of other places on the map where you just don't have experienced pilots or good planes, and so you are going to lose your fair share, but since he's bombing, especially against the AI, you get a lot of free runs against the bombers, against the AI. Lodrick is not doing that. He's sweeping over the top. He's showing you how you should do it as the Japanese, which is never just do naked bombing runs until you've at least swept over something 2 or 3 times, and he keeps doing that. So he draws our cap up. He'll shoot down our bad pilots, our crappy airframes, then the bombers come in with no resistance. That's how you want to do it. Allied points army loss. I've never seen anything like this. We're at almost 4,000. He's at 99. Now, again, a lot of that's up in China, and I'm scrambling in China trying to do what I can. I've never had a game where I wasn't able to just bring that to a stalemate. We'll see. He's really pushing the limits of what I thought you could do as a Japanese player in China. I'm really enjoying watching him do it, actually. Allied ship sunk 340. We're at 2369, a lot higher than I would expect. We've now really rectified that. A lot of the problems we had early on was just me playing against the AI or people that aren't very good too many times, and having not played a really skilled player in a while, he did a wonderful job during the first month of getting out into shipping lanes, knocking off a lot of our stuff that you can usually get out of the Dutch East Indies. So, we've adjusted now, and if we look at the ship sunk, and we'll look at last turn, we lose the submarine, the Stingray last time, but that happened a long time ago. a long time ago. This got hit at the Philippines. Um, and eventually went, is going down now. Its flotation eventually gave out. We, have been trying to limp it back. It only got about halfway back, so we lose 8 points for that. That's something that happened long ago. But this time around, we lose no cargo. We lose none of our little AMCs or, tankers, nothing else. We didn't lose any ships this time, except for that Stingray, which happened long ago and just couldn't quite make it back to base. Group reinforcement schedule. Let's see what we have coming in soon. For our aircraft, these are the nice ones. These are the big ones. Number 136 Squadron, RAF, the Hurricane 2B Trops. We need to get these out to Colombo, Rangoon, Calcutta. Let's see what this is attached to. 221 Group RAF. That is in Rangoon. So we will immediately go from Aden to Karachi, Karachi on the rails down to Calcutta. Calcutta, I think we can fly it all the way into Rangoon. And these guys will be tough. These will be tough. They've got experienced pilots. These are good play. They can match up with the Zeros and the Oscars, and we'll finally be able, when he comes in at Rangoon, be able to smack him back a little bit. So those Hurricane 2B Trops, that has got to be priority number one when they come into Aden. We got a few DC2. I say a few. Looks like we got 16 DC2s coming in. These are recon. No, 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 no. These are transports. So we'll get those up to Lido, get them flying up over the Himalayas, and trying to get supply into China. Marchfield, we get some Lightnings. You see, we get some Fulmer 2s in 10 days in at Aden. Now, these Fulmer 2s are fighter bombers. So they're, they've got the hash in between. They could be either. We'll probably use these as fighters, though. We've got a lot more bombers than we do fighters, and so we'll try to train these up with fighter pilots and make them fighters if we can. We'll have to look. I don't know. Yeah, these are carrier capable. Now, this is what the Brits like to put on their carriers. We've got a carrier now. I think it's the Resolute. Gosh darn it, I just can't remember now. I think it's the Resolute. We'll go look. I wanted to do that this time anyway because we do have the carrier now in at Aden. So we'll check that out. I meant to do that last time, but we didn't do it. You can see what else is coming in. Got some DH-84 Dragons coming into Darwin. Those are transport planes as well. Look at that. It kind of looks like a dragon. Um, okay. So we've, again, the Hurricane Trop 2s. Hey, it's those battleships. Wait a minute. I didn't need to get out of here. Group reinforcement there. Top pilots. Do we have an ace? We still do. I don't think I've ever gone in a game this long and not had an ace that's active. Now, a lot of these guys have been killed or wounded. We've got Grover out here, 18th PG, 6th PS, U.S. Army. Where would that Warhawk be? Hmm. He may now. Oh, he's transferring. That's what that is. That asterisk is. So we're actually moving him out to those groups at Sydney and Brisbane and elsewise. Ship availability. What do we have coming in soon? Let's see. Hold on. There we go. No, wrong way. ETA, ETA. There we go. See, I can sort. The Sumatra coming into Surabaya. This is a very interesting case because it's coming into a place we don't want it to come into. We've got no other capital ships in the Dutch East Indies anymore. We've sailed them all out of there to the extent we could. Anything we could get out. At Bombay, we get an AKL. We get an AK at Balboa. Okay, the British chemist comes in at Abadan. Again, that'll be going straight into Karachi. We do get the Idaho at San Francisco. Nothing else that exciting. The Norman at Cape Town. Battleship the Revenge comes in at Cape Town. Well, that's only 11 days. You can just see how many ships the Allies pump out. It's ridiculous. Uh, the Ramillies and the Resolution. So three British battleships on the way. I know I mentioned that last time, but that really starts to make the Bay of Bengal, the Indian Ocean, a lot more interesting because we could actually fight back, against something like this, where we see five battleships. Now, wow, okay, I didn't realize it was five. Uh, probably not against that, although the British battleships generally are really good, even at the start, as you might imagine, with the Brits. They love their battleships. Gosh darn it, I wish we would have hit that with the torpedo. We'll come back to that. We're going to go talk about how you load up the torpedoes for planes. It's a little bit different in this game than you would even imagine it, that you would imagine it to be. That goes back to the history of this game, which is basically that there were two different teams of developers that worked on this game. I know that you guys that have, watched the tutorials and whatnot know this. I've said this before, but there were two different development teams that worked on this game, and they didn't know quite how to thread the torpedoes to planes, into their two different missions, because one was doing naval. That's why naval uses fuel, but planes and infantry were done by another development team, and they had to try to figure out how to get torpedoes. They decided to do it through headquarters, and dummy old me forgot about it. Okay, anyway, group reinforcement. What do we have coming in? We've got 7th U.S. Bomber Command. Now, a lot of that the Hawaiian commands will actually go into 7th U.S. Bomber and 7th U.S. Fighter. Those are the two commands that are stationed at Pearl Harbor. No reason to move those. We also have the 221 Group Base Force. Now, 221, I just said, is in Rangoon. We'll have a hard time getting it into Rangoon while he's got battleships, and other things sitting off of Rangoon or in the Bay of Bengal area. But this is a good base force, gives you a lot of aviation support. Same with the 224. Now, the 224, I want to say that I've got the 225 in Madras, 222 in Colombo. I think I've got 223. Oh, 223 and 224 were the guys that were in Singapore. Those were the commands in Singapore. Now they're going to be destroyed. We got 224 off of Singapore, I think, but then it got sunk, and then 223. Now those will reform and show back up later. But this is the base force that should go with it. Yeah, okay, we'll have to figure that out as it comes on. We got the Viper Force coming into Rangoon. Look out. Indian Mountain Gun Regiments, Coastal Artillery. Got a lot of stuff coming into India, which is good. And then these are the ones I'm really interested in. The Chinese corps that come into Chongqing. We need all of them we can get. I talked about that last time. 81st Chinese coming in, 257 on the Ave into Chongqing. You can see every week or so we're going to be getting new Chinese forces. Here's another one, 33rd Chinese. Some have 257. Some have like 56. They're not built up yet. We'll have to put them on reinforce immediately because we need those suckers to build up. We've also got these air wings coming in. These are very helpful. Again, Rangoon Group Air Wing. This has a huge aviation component, aviation support component. Can we see it? Aviation support 75. You can see here they have just general support, which you need for your troops, but aviation support 75. So that's a big one. Um, okay. Well, wow, I don't know why it just flipped me over here, but here we are. Let's go back over to Colombo. All right, we've seen the 5 battleships. We've sighted 5 ships. Now, this is interesting in a few different ways. One is just how he's composing his task forces. It's a little bit unusual, I would say, to have just 5 battle. Now, he may have a few more ships in this, but usually you kind of have a battleship or two with cruiser, light cruiser, some destroyers for anti-sub. Instead, it looks like he's just got 5 battleships. Now, I'll say at other places on the map, usually when he's got these big clusters of battleships, he does have a few destroyers or PBs or TBs with them to sniff out submarines. I mean, we've got our submarine right here, and the first, I say our submarine like it's, okay, this is the only submarine we've got in the game. Not really. We've got 2 British submarines, but this is the Trusty. and I'm going to take his patrol zone and I'm going to set it right over that and get this submarine over here. Hell, I don't know, but I mean, now he actually has torpedoes, so we may get something off. You can't go above a max react 1. We've got it on 1. So hopefully he'll come right over here and get into business with these battleships, get a torpedo or two off. If he doesn't have any ASW in here, and generally battleships don't, we may get lucky. We may get lucky, but let's go talk about the other torpedoes. And this has just been gnawing at me, keeping me up at night. All right, we've got our torpedo bombers up here, and you can see using torpedoes is in red. Now, you can keep that as using torpedoes because if they don't have torpedoes, they'll switch to bombs. They do that automatically. So it's not like you have to have, click on that, you say using bombs is in yellow. Okay, we can use bombs. But even if you have it on using torpedoes in red, it will pick out bombs if it doesn't have any torpedoes. But why does it not have torpedoes, he asks, as he calls down to Colombo and says, "Give me the commander! Who's in charge of ordnance down there?" Okay. Well, torpedo bombers, you can see that, how it is here on the picture. There are also other planes that maybe aren't called a torpedo bomber that do have torpedoes. So any place, you go look at your planes. Let's go look at the level bombers. And as you can see, that's not listed here. So it's not an option for the Lysanders. They're light level bombers. They cannot carry torpedoes. They automatically have bombs. If we wanted to look at the aircraft data, what do they carry? Default load is a 250-pound SAP bomb. Okay, if you've got them going out to their maximum, so this is if they're going to normal range, they'll carry the default load. If they're going out to an extended range, they carry their reduced load. Always keep that in mind. You would always want these to have the 250-pound bombs. The 100-pound bombs, I mean, that sounds like a fairly large bomb, but it's actually not at all. That's just not going to do any damage to hardly anything. You want it carrying the 250 pounders at least, for bombers. And so always keep these into the normal range if you can. Have I done that? I did not. And see, I'm catching myself doing stupid things. Put that down to a 4 so it's at normal radius. It'll carry the 250-pound bombs instead of the 100-pound bombs. Okay, but it can't carry torpedoes. But torpedo bombers, yes, they can. And we would also want that on a range. If we look at the data, default load, yeah, you can see here, even if I would have had torpedoes, I had this going out to maximum range. Again, that's just a mistake on my part. Get it on the default, okay, and it'll carry a torpedo if we have torpedoes. So we've got that backed off now to a maximum range of 4, which is the normal radius, and that will give you the default load. Extended is going to give you the lighter load. All right, 6,000 feet. That's where we want them for naval, torpedo runs. You could go lower. I generally always have naval attack, any naval attack on 6,000 feet. That's how the game usually sets them up when it comes, right off out of the box on these things. Okay, using torpedoes. We don't have any torpedoes. How do we get them? Well, you go down to your command here, 222 group RAF. That is the command for this, and you may have to switch this over if they don't match up because you won't get the ordnance if he's not in command. Uh, you go here and you see here, torpedo ordnance. All right, so we're going to fire Dialback. I'm going to blame him. All the shit flows downhill. You're fired. Well, maybe not, but torpedo ordnance is right here at the command. What do? You click on that button, enter number of torpedoes up to 20. What does this do? What does this mean? He's got to order these. He's got to bring them in. Now, if you don't have any torpedoes in the pool, it doesn't matter what number you put in here. There's none to get. But we've got plenty of torpedoes. Well, I say plenty. There's a great if you ever want to read online, there's a lot of great history about torpedoes during World War II. People seem to think they were a lot more plentiful than they actually were. They really were in short supply in a lot of places, uh, you know, around the globe because they're very hard to transport. Torpedoes are dangerous. You may be shocked by that, but they're very hard to transport. But anyway, at a major command like this out at Colombo, we're going to be using them. The max you can put in at one time is 20. So we're going to order 20 of them, okay? And now you can see Torpedo Ordnance 20. Excellent. If you want more, you can come back here and put 20 in again, and now it's 40. And I think that's what we'll do because Colombo, we should have a lot of torpedo bombers out here eventually as we get them. But you can keep adding 20, 20, 20. Just keep in mind up in your pool, and let's go look at the pool, resource pool. Let's look at, I'm trying to think of the best way to look at these. We could sort, and we really want to look at the British ones. You can see aviation support. That's not what we really want. But if you look down here, you're going to eventually run into the torpedoes. Yeah, I hope. I hope. You know, you see the mines. So I've got these all open right now, by the way. I'm not stockpiling anything. If you don't know what that means, I did a whole tutorial on it, but basically you can switch these all to stockpiling and nothing will come out of your pool. I don't want to waste a whole lot of time looking down here. Normally I would. Mortars, trench, mines. Well, now I said we had torpedoes. It's possible I've passed them up here. I'm certain we do. Oh, goodness. Well, I hope we do. Hopefully when I open this up, I didn't release. I mean, there's not a whole lot of places that you need British torpedoes, but it's possible that these have been grabbed. But now will be first priority. Um, you can see all the different things we make. This game's just incredible, is it not? Okay. Well, hell, now I want to know. Now I want to know because I think maybe we already released them. What's the best way to? Let's take off all nationalities and let's just go to Brits. Okay. I said I wasn't going to spend a lot of time on this, but now I'm really curious, and I won't be able to let it go until we at least find the torpedo. Hold on. You know what? What kind of torpedoes do these things carry? Maybe that would help me identify them. The Mark 12 torpedo, 18-inch Mark 12. I hope we didn't grab these with the new subs, but let's go look. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry. Sorry. 18 inch. Okay, 18 inch Mark 12. 18 inch Mark 12 torpedo. Okay. All right, we'll sort it this way. Oh, is 18? We'll find it. Oh, wait a minute. 18. Why isn't it in there? I don't see it there. Oh my gosh, this is going to drive me crazy. 15, 16, 7. It should be right in this area. Um, God, this game's amazing. There's a reason I love this game so much. I'm not seeing it there. Why wouldn't it be there? Let's see if it's under Mark 12. That's possible. LMNHIJKL. There we go. Mark 12. There we go. Mark 12. Oh, it's not there though. Okay, these are all the mines. Are we not producing any more of these? Is that, I mean, I guess that's possible. Ooh, I'd be really mad at myself if I pulled them all out for submarines and we're not producing anymore. It should be under 18 inch. There's a joke in there somewhere. but I'm not in junior high. Um, Gosh darn it, 8 inch. It could. Ay, 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 ay. I can't believe I can't find that. I thought this would be easy to find. 18 pounder guns. So that, I mean, that's the one thing with 18 in it. It's possible we're not producing those anymore. That would be a real kick in the butt. Okay, I'm going to look for those on my own. I'm not going to take any more time here, but that's the basic idea. We'll actually see if these fill up. Oh, we did fill up. Look at that. It's already gone to yellow. Interesting. Okay, I guess I'd never noticed that before, that when you order these, maybe we pulled all, when we did this, it pulled it out of our inventory there. Um, Interesting. And since none are in there and none are being produced, it's not showing it anymore. I guess that's a possibility. I just don't know. Gosh darn it. Well, we'll find out. Anyway, okay, this is now using torpedoes. It's in yellow. We could flip it to using bombs, but why would we do that? We're now on torpedoes. Hopefully they'll go get another shot at that. That's gonna bother me now. Anyway, okay. Let's go and look, see what else is going on. Of course, we're still dumping into Karachi. We've got a lot of new stuff into Aden that I wanted to point out this time. I've already sent it on its way. I've already set up some of this stuff for the turn. Let's see where I put. Oh, these are all the AMCs that I've just sent back to Aden to hide. Let's go and look. Yeah, there we go. There's our new carrier, the Indomitable. It's I put it along. The Royal Sovereign also came in here, the battleship Royal Sovereign. Then we have the cruiser Cornwall, which has actually got a really nice anti-aircraft. That's why I always like to have the Cornwall with the British carriers, because it's got such a nice anti-aircraft ability. The Royal Sovereign will break off from this, but we may as well have them all together for now. It's got a 782 for the anti-aircraft, which helps. The Emerald, Danae, Dragon, Durban, they're not great, but then we've got the good destroyers and the Jumna, the destroyer escort, that's got a 6 anti-sub. These guys, and if you wanted to look at, well, I can't put anything else in there. The Nizam has got an 8 for anti-sub. The Nestor has an 8. I mean, these are as good as it gets at this part of the game. The British ones, the Napier, the Nestor, the Nizam, they're all 8s. I've also got some of these Dutch destroyers, which only have a 2, just along for the ride. There's no reason to have them at Aden, so we'll just drop them off. Now, you see that going into Karachi, I'll actually station them at Bombay, and I'm building Bombay up to a level 7 port. Level 7 ports rearm you and redo everything a lot faster. The leap from a level 6 to a level 7 port is the biggest leap in the game. And so try to get whatever you can, your major ports, up to a level 7 because they can rearm and refuel so much faster. So try to do that. Bombay, I'll get up there. I think Madras, I'll get up there. That's only one above natural. So we'll go from, a 5 to a 7. You can go up to 3 above what the natural level is. Colombo, of course, is already a 9. Calcutta is a 5, and you can only take it to a 6. So I usually just kind of leave this at a 5. I don't. Yeah. You get so much supply into Calcutta, you can certainly take it into a 6. What did I decide to do this time? Yep, I am expanding the port. Okay, so we're 32% of the way there. We'll take it to a 6. It can't go above that. So it's mainly, Madras, Colombo, Bombay will be your big ports here in India. We've still got this stuff just waiting. I mean, you can see why I put it on remain on station. It's just going to sit out here. We got our sub coming over here. We now have torpedoes, evidently, through all of that rigmarole we just went through. Diego Garcia, I've got 14 ships out here. I'm just letting it's a real hodgepodge of junk. And I've got other stuff coming up here, I think, or is it all there now? No, I've got 2 more of these kind of damaged. It's got some destroyers in it. It's got all kinds of crap out of the Dutch East Indies that I've got coming to Diego Garcia, including a light cruiser, the Ceres. So light cruisers, destroyers, they're all coming here. I'm just letting them sit here, and I'm bringing another tanker down here to try to give them fuel so that they can eventually retire to Colombo. But I've just got them sitting here for now. In Cape Town, what do we have going on? We've got tankers, but we've got very little fuel, and we need to get more fuel in here. We've also got destroyers, the Jupiter and the Stronghold. We'll send those to Bombay to meet up with our carrier and our battleship that will be going to Bombay so that we've got good ASW. So we'll just batch those two together, send them to Bombay. What else is going on around the map? You can see here he's sitting. You can see there was a battle here at Singapore last turn. We're likely to only hold that for one more turn, unfortunately. I think he'll take it. He's yet to make his move on the Dutch East Indies. Time's getting a little away from him on that, I would say. I mean, that would just be, not a criticism. I just, he's doing other things, but getting into the Dutch East Indies, normally you would be seeing landings down here. We haven't seen that yet. So he's getting a little behind schedule there, I would say. Just my opinion. I think he's a little short, a little slow there. Fighters, we've got very little in the way of the Flying Tigers left. We may as well, as a matter of fact, just disband them and put them all in the other group. Once you're below the threshold, and I'll say no there. Once you're below the threshold, see, this tells you how many planes you could have in this group, 27. We're way below that, and we were in the other one as well. You can disband it, and they'll just merge into each other as long as you're below that number. We've got 11 Flying Tigers left in Rangoon. That's why I said we got to get those Hurricane Trop 2s down. If we look at China, same old deal. We're trying to get these units out. I'm trying to get them to here where they can all merge up. We've had a lot of things already come back to Hengyang. That's what we're trying to do there. We're trying to get these units out here to Aichang. I'm trying to get this stuff out here, and we're going to meet up on this road and then try to hop the river, get behind the river. Now he's across the river here, but I have a feeling he may try to go back this way. There's not a lot of joy for him going here up through the mountains to try to get to the plateau. At least not yet. He's really better off coming this way where there are major roads. Coming in this way is almost impossible. Fingers crossed. Coming back to Yan'an, we're going to fall back to Lan Chao eventually here. So we're going to defend Lan Chao. All right. We're going to defend these two bases here. I Chang. We started Changsha here. We'll eventually fall back to Kuaiyang and other places for the ultimate defense of Chongqing. We won't hold this eventually, but we're going to try to hold on to it as long as we can. Same with this stuff here in the south. They'll fall back either to Kunming or straight back to Kuaiyang to defend Chongqing. Philippines, I don't know. He hasn't done a whole hell of a lot out here lately. I mean, we're still sitting at Bataan. We're starving out. You can see the red exclamation. We're in trouble there as far as supplies goes. Of course we are. I mean, we have no way of getting supplies in. It's only a matter of time before he comes and takes it, but he hasn't done it yet. He's taken Balikpapan. When it comes to Australia, I think we'll talk more about Australia next time. Now, he did have a force that was coming down here. They seem to have gone elsewhere. Now, you may remember we've got the entire Australian Navy over here, and then we've also got some British ships and some American ships in this group, but it's 3 cruisers, it's 10 or 12 light cruisers, a bunch of destroyers. I like to put some destroyers in here because they can get some torpedoes off sometimes. I think these are carrying torpedoes. Yeah, the Mark 15 torpedoes. They can get, if they can get those in the water, the destroyers can actually destroy anything in the game. Now it's not likely, it doesn't happen often, but it's possible. So I like to put a few destroyers in there, but I've been just having these hang here. As you can see, I've got them in a patrol zone of this one hex. So they're just sitting here in case he tries to come around the corner. Maybe we'll have a little surprise for him. You can see all of the shipping backlog that's trying to get into Perth. But we're waiting. We're waiting to see. Now I've got planes out here now. I've got a lot of Warhawks, 15 Warhawks. They're really doing a lot of training. I've got that on 40, 30 on the cap. We've got some level bombers that are looking. I actually want to move. I need more recon up here just so I can see what's going on. But I've got most things coming into Albany and Esperance. We've got a lot of ships at Esperance. 45 ships are sitting here waiting to go back out. We also have a lot of the support. If we look around the other way of or the other side of Australia here, here we go. Here are his carriers, and we may stand down this time. You know, I may listen to you, Stanley. Now I had his recon going straight south here. We don't want that now. He's moved up this way, and so let's reset the arc, and we can do I don't know like 30. We got 5 planes. Do like 30 to 80 something like that. Let's see what we get out of that. Yeah, there we go. Now we can get a good read on what he's up to. I could even do it a little more north, assuming he's going to kind of come up into this area. So let's do that. We'll just back that off to, we'll just do 0 to 50. See what that looks like. All right. So, you know, as long as, I mean, he seems to be floating up this way, we'll get a good read on him when he gets up in here, exactly what he's got going on. We're showing 4 battleships and 3 carriers. So that's an interesting makeup. He makes up his task forces a little differently than I'm used to seeing, but seems to be working for him so far. So anyway, we'll see what he's got going on there, and we may take these fighters. I haven't decided yet. You know, we've got a maximum range of 1. We could even put this in 0, so it's directly over Brisbane, and that's it. 50 on the cap. As you can see, air to air, we've lost 17 of these planes. We will get reinforcements on, replacements on, and we will say upgrade, although, you know, it's the same plane. It's not going to upgrade. That upgrade path, if we click on, whoops, if we click on that upgrade path, P40E eventually in September 942, it'll upgrade to the P40K. Okay, and then it upgrades again in like July of 43 to the P40N1 Warhawk. I'm not doing, you know, manual upgrades. I almost always let it just take its path. So, uh, yeah. Anyway, we may stand those down this time. Take it off the cap. You know, we could put it on rest. We could do it on stand down potentially. We've got that off training, so it'd just be train 0. They could just stand down for a turn. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that. We also have fighters not in Rockhampton yet, which is probably a good thing. We probably want to move these level bombers out of here, so if he hits the airfield, we don't lose them on the airfield. So something like that, we could just transfer to the base, send them down to like Wagga Wagga or something like that. You know, I just wanted to say Wagga Wagga. We'll just send them down there so they don't get destroyed on the field. There was one. No, nope, they all went. Okay, so now they're all down here at Wagga Wagga. Townsville, we have fighters. Again, these Warhawks, we've got 25 of these with an average experience of 37. We need to get rid of these inexperienced pilots. We'll send those to the reserve. Let's get rid of 5. Let's get rid of 10. Let's get rid of 15. You know, we don't want any of these guys, right? Not really. Any of the 30, certainly. These guys you can also get rid of. You can say, first of all, put them in the group reserve so they go gray. Click on them again, put them on the general reserve, and you get them out as your leader. And now this guy's our squad leader, and he's actually the only decent pilot we have, really. Then we could go back. Now I won't do. I'm not going to save this. I don't think. I haven't thought this through. I'm just kind of trying to show you how you would do it. We would request a veteran. We'd go to the reserve, fighter reserve. Let's see the air-to-air capabilities. Who's the best? We don't have too many good ones. 59, 57. So we'd put him in there. And you could see it switches over to 20th PS. It's going to take him 6 days to get there, though. RP Duncan we can put in there. It's going to take him one day to get there. So you get the idea. Anyway, we'll go through the other half of the map next time. We'll talk about, kind of the situation up here by Moresby, what I'm trying to do to get Suva beefed up now, Pago Pago, Nomaya, etc. We've got Rarotonga. I'm going to send a base force out here because you can fly planes from there to Pago to Suva, and just it's a lot safer than trying to take transports up here with planes. So we'll probably do that. We're building Tahiti, of course, and Haiva Oa. But that's all for next time. Anyway, this has been Strategy Gaming Dojo. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Let's get torpedoes on those damn planes. Anyway, I'll talk to you next time. Have a good one.